Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. At least 10 people have been killed at a shooting at a secondary school in the Austrian city of Graz. Students and teachers are believed to be among the dead after gunshots at the Dreerschutz and Gasser High School. Several more students have been injured. Local media report the suspected gunman killed himself. Police say they began an operation at 10 a.m. local time after gunshots were heard from inside the school. The Austrian Chancellor Christian Stocker said these were young people who had their whole lives ahead of them.
In Austria, an absolute rare event. Gun violence is extremely rare. You just don't see guns in society. They're hunting weapons. It's not like in other countries where you have laws that allow people to carry weapons in public. I mean, obviously, people think about the United States, where there's an extremely high level of gun violence and incidents like the one we're reporting on now in Austria. Very, very rare that this would happen.
The US President Donald Trump is deploying more National Guard troops and Marines to Los Angeles as protests in the city continue. Monday's protests were generally calmer, but the prospect of Marines on the streets has sent shivers through communities. California Governor Gavin Newsom says he will take legal action against the deployments, calling Trump deranged and dictatorial.
He flamed the fires. This is exactly what he wanted. This is what he intended by illegally acting to federalize the National Guard. We're going to be initiating a lawsuit first thing tomorrow morning, and it did exactly what we told his team it would do. It would inflame the anxiety, it would inflame the conditions, and the most important thing he can do if he wants this thing behind us is to rescind his order.
Russia has launched one of its largest strikes on Kyiv, injuring 4 people and causing widespread damage across 7 of the capital's 10 districts. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said Russia launched 315 drones overnight across the country. Further south, in the port city of Odessa, 2 people were killed after drone attacks hit residential buildings and medical facilities, including a maternity ward. Zelensky later said 13 people had been injured there. He said the overnight attack was one of the largest strikes on Kyiv ever. Israel says a group of activists, including Swedish campaigner Greta Thunberg, who were detained aboard a Gaza-bound aid boat, have been taken to Tel Aviv airport for deportation. The yacht carrying 12 people trying to bring humanitarian aid to Gaza was towed to the Israeli port of Ashdod on Monday, after it was seized by Israeli forces in the early hours. Dismissing it as a selfie yacht, Israel said the passengers had arrived at Ben Gurion Airport to return to their home countries. The U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a vaccine skeptic, has removed all 17 members of a committee that issues official government recommendations on immunizations. Kennedy said he wanted to ensure the American people receive the safest vaccines possible. Doctors and health experts have criticized Kennedy's long-standing questioning of the safety and efficacy of a number of vaccines, although in his Senate confirmation hearing he said he is not going to take them away. India's Coast Guard is continuing efforts to douse a fire on a Singaporean-flagged cargo ship in the Arabian Sea near the coast of the southern state of Kerala. Footage showed the MW Wanhai 503 emitting large plumes of smoke as the Indian Navy and Coast Guard tried to extinguish the fire on board. 18 crew members have been rescued while 4 are still missing. And Sly Stone, a funk rock star who led the group Sly and the Family Stone, has died at the age of 82. He rose to stardom in the 60s and 70s after starting out as a DJ in San Francisco. Stone, whose real name was Sylvester Stewart, began singing gospel music with his brothers and sisters at a young age. They were known both for having a diverse music style and being a diverse band with black and white musicians. They played a memorable set at the 1969 Woodstock Festival and to crowds at the Summer of Soul concert in Harlem the same year. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.